Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. We just have people joining in right now, so we'll just give them another minute to join, and hopefully everyone can log in perfectly. Also, it seems like we're getting a few participants in as well, so this is fantastic. We'll just give it another 10 seconds. Seems like there's this few last minute people. I'm sure people will join in to this. And yeah, we should be good to go. So hi everyone. You guys will probably either know me, but for those that don't, my name is Andrew. I'm the partner manager at DS Systems. I've been with DS for some time now, so I think it's close to 5 years almost. And so today's webinar is really just a quick update on a few of the enhancements and releases that we've done over the last 6 months. So before we'll just do a quick refresher. We'll do another one in end of July or the next 4 to 5 weeks, and we'll deep dive on some of the enhancements around the manufacturing side of things, RMA, MRP. So really deep dive into those. But for today's, we'll just do a quick update on all the other enhancements and releases that we've had over the last 6 months. Now, before I get started, I just want to make sure that guys, if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to put them into the question QA section or into the chat box. I have another colleague of mine monitoring that. And at the end of it, we can go ahead and, if we have time, jump into it and cover any of the questions. And if the questions that we don't get to, or if we need any more elaboration on, we'll just have to come back to you guys after that. So awesome. So let's get into it. So one of the first modules that we're going to cover is just a real quick overview of, first of all, is a lot of questions have been coming up just about, hey, where'd you guys actually start? Are you guys actually an American company, Australian company? We get that all the time. So we actually was an Australian company, and we've had rapid growth from 2012, 13, 14, off the back of the Xero ecosystem, QBO ecosystem. We've opened up offices, but most importantly, now in 2021, we've joined forces with Sin7, and we've been acquired. So now, us as Sin7, what it really is, we've become one unified company with 3 separate app offerings. So Sin7 being one of the app offerings, Dia being one of the app offerings, and AutoHive being one of the app offerings. All the apps will continue to operate the same, but we'll just be sharing resources. Our marketing team is going to be joining forces, so we have unified marketing, unified message across the board. But most importantly, we just really want to help product-based businesses who are moving into the technology space, moving into the cloud, and want to automate their services. Just a few cool brands as well that we've put on over the last couple of months to last 12 months. Just to thought I'll share some brands out there. So there's some household names out there for you guys, just a real quick one. Now let's talk about the sales module. So the sales modules that had some few enhancements that's come through, so you might not be aware of. One of them is processing credit notes and restocking independently. Previously, credit notes and restock tabs were kind of joined. And now since the release, the credit notes and restocking tabs have been separated. So either can be processed independently in any order. So you don't necessarily have to follow the same order. The other is allocated credit notes to refunds as a partial payment to an invoice. So previously, credit note refunds could be applied as a partial payment to an invoice through a workaround. So there was a particular workaround that we suggested, but now that's been scrapped. So now you can, credit notes can be allocated directly to sales invoices as a payment to close off both documents. These credit notes as payments will also be synced to QBO and Xero as well, and vice versa. The only precondition is the fact that customers must have an existing credit note balance. The other want to touch on is restock items to another location. So previously, if you sold something from one location, you can only restock it back into that location. Now you can restock it to any other location as one of the major ones. Then we have scheduling deliveries. So this is for both point of sales, WMS, web portal sales, but also manual sales. So I'll cover this again a little bit later. But simply allows you to a new calendar function, which I will, after this, send an email, send out quite a detailed how to set that up. The calendar function pretty much allows you to manage your deliveries if you're delivering them internally. So you can mark things as delivered, put them into delivery slots within your calendar and within your schedule. And then we also, the cool thing is we've added a new field in the sales module called related orders field. So if back of a sales order, a production run, an assembly, or a purchase order has been triggered, you can see that in that sales order. You can click on related fields and see that information. So quite awesome on there. Really allows you to have that one view screen so you can see all the information and trace things back. With the point of sale system, we've done a complete redesign. So new UI UX, really making it market leading from that forefront. If you hadn't had a chance to jump in, you can definitely jump in and have a play and look at the new UI UX. And we have some new videos on it as well that's been updated. Now back to the scheduling of sales from Dear Web and Dear point of sale systems. So sales made within Dear can now be scheduled for delivery to the customer. So this feature allows a delivery calendar, in short, so you can build out your days, your time slots, and actually schedule these deliveries and view all these deliveries, and even print out your delivery schedules for the day or for the week and what you need to deliver. So this should really help people that are delivering big bulky items themselves, or they have their own delivery force and truck drivers, to really schedule that out to be able to help them out. Moving on to still in the sales, but looking at the integrations and specifically, we've now launched the BigCommerce integration. So now that that's gone live, which will really allow pretty much Dear customers to connect to BigCommerce, or for BigCommerce customers to be able to connect to Dear, pretty much offering a world-leading platform for e-commerce as an option. The other one is eBay orders. So canceled orders in eBay can be refunded now. So previously canceled orders in eBay would just cause a void of a sale in Dear. With this new release, cancel orders, we can pull in the cancel order stage. If there's a refund data, we can pull in the refund and automatically apply it to that sales order from eBay, which is a pretty cool enhancement. Moving on to Amazon refunds and returns now can be supported. So this is a pretty significant one as well now. So this enhancement really allows us to be able to capture refunds and returns from Amazon and FBA. Amazon enhancement settlement reports for processing. So this is a pretty significant one. As you know, historically, settlement reports are pretty much, I think, delivered once every 2 weeks by Amazon. And this kind of provides a little bit of a breakdown of item price, Amazon commission fees, shipping fees, total amounts earned to the seller. So now we've enhanced this to make this even less data heavy and simplify the processing time. So Dear now creates a money received task for the settlement deposit. So previously didn't do that, and captures all transaction types and the settlement report, and notifies the user of any transaction types that have not yet been mapped to an account at Dear. So pretty much gives you a notification going, hey, what's going on here? We haven't previously, like this certain amount hasn't been mapped, so we're not able to actually send this amount to a specific account. So you're aware of that, so you can fix that up and make those enhancements. The other is that we've done enhancements to actually meet Amazon's requirements for exporting detailed shipment tracking information back to Amazon. So I think this was back in April 5th that we did this. So carrier names that are required upon shipment configuration. It could be UPS, FedEx, and so forth, that can be all now pushed back to Amazon. So if we meet that requirement, so there's not going to be any kind of issues from that front. So this makes us meet all the requirements, eligibility requirements, so that integration will work perfectly fine. The other enhancement to our sales integration channel is Shopify, which is one of our most used integrations. Now we have this functionality to be able to load fulfillment information from Shopify to Dia. What this really means is that through the setup tab in the Shopify, so where you do your process customization, where you set up your pick, pack, and ship processing mode, you can actually choose load data from Shopify. What this option really does, it allows Dia to download information from Shopify with the order fulfillment details. So if you're fulfilling orders out of Shopify, we'll be able to pick up whether it's been picked, packed, and shipped, and vice versa. So we'll be able to pull in all that information and apply it in Dia. So deleting a fulfillment in Shopify pretty much avoids a fulfillment in Dia. And that's what it does as well. If you're deleting, if there's any changes, we'll be able to pull them up. Obviously, we won't be able to mark something as fulfilled if there's insufficient stock in Dia. So we won't be able to pull that in until sufficient stock has been updated. Also talking about restocking, again, with Shopify, we're able to restock return products to another location. So if you have multiple locations linked to your Shopify store, this release pretty much allows DA to capture restock locations from Shopify and generates an authorized stock transfer to the restock location to maintain correct stock levels. And we have e-commerce channels import refunds for historic sales fixes. So this one's, what this really means historically, with e-commerce channels, we're talking about here, Shopify, Vend, Diapos, Magento 2, WooCommerce, Square, eBay, Etsy, and even ShipStation if you're using it as an e-commerce tool. So previously to this release, you would import historic sales along with a refund and return. This could be cause stock discrepancies as the historic sale was not accounted for in Dia. So if you connected Dia to your e-commerce channel on 1st of April, but you had a refund that was going to come in from 1st of Feb, then there was a discrepancy because Dia didn't have the 1st of Feb information. So now what Dia does, Dia checks the sales dates compared to the integration dates and sees that this was a historic order. And what it does, it creates a cell without any order lines or invoice lines, creates the credit note tab, shows the refund items. And if the refund was processed in the e-commerce channel, it will be captured in this tab. And the restock tab will be left empty and no stock adjustments are made. So what we're doing is pretty much saying, hey, there's a refund here that you need to give out. Here's the credit note for it. It is for a historic order. So you're not going to cause any kind of issues or miss any kind of information, where historically this was causing a lot of errors. So moving on to the integration, still on the integration side of things. So we've done a lot of work on the integration side. So now looking at accounting. So this is more specific to our UAE accounts, the first one. So we have very specific UAE tax-related features within Dia. Historically, if you were using Dia as a standalone and then you connected Xero, you will lose a lot of these features. All these features would then just kind of cause a lot of errors around your tax and consolidating side of things. Now it won't let you do that. It will give you a warning saying, hey, you're going to lose these features. Please go and rectify these issues before adding it. B2B. So the B2B portal email template now has had a few enhancements. So you can actually modify those templates a lot more now. So if you just go to your B2B portal, click on email templates, you should be able to amend those email templates, fix them up. If you need any help with the email template customization, you can of course always hit up our support team, and we have a full template team that can help you guys out. With the B2B, also vertical navigation improvements. So if once you were in the B2B portal, you had a vertical navigation, which was previously just showed you brands, categories, product tags. You could just enable or disable them. So now you can allow to enable them, but also enable submenu items. So on the left side, on the vertical, you can also get, for example, this is my t-shirts, and then my summer t-shirts, my winter t-shirts, and so forth. So you can have those submenus underneath them. Something else a little bit more for the accounting savvy people out there, you can clone manual journals now with India. So this should save a lot of time if you're doing the same manual journal entries all the time. So with this release, manual journal entries can be cloned for easy input to repeated or regular journal entries. This only applies to standalone manual journals. So please keep in mind that. Now we have a zero sync report as well. So what this report really does is another zero report. So we have a few other zero reconciliation reports and so forth with India. But this additional report, what it does, during the synchronization with zero, items can also be imported to zero or ultimately have statuses of skipped, pending, or failed. This will cause an information discrepancy between DIA and zero. This new report pretty much allows the user to see discrepancies where data in DIA has not been imported into zero. But please note that payments for consolidated invoices cannot be imported to DIA from zero. If you're bringing information from zero to DIA, you will need to manually add these payments to DIA for the consolidated invoices in zero. Now let's move on to one of our most CRM used functions, which is HubSpot integration. Now we've released the HubSpot integration, and we've had a ton of really good feedback. And so we've gone off the back of that feedback and put through a lot of enhancements for the HubSpot integration. So multiple HubSpot deals can be now mapped to a single DIA status. So previously, each HubSpot deal stage could only be mapped to one DIA sales stage. So e.g., contracts sent can only be mapped to, for example, sales authorization. But with this release, several HubSpot deal stages can be associated with the same DIA sales stage. When a sale is exported from DIA for the first time with a sales status associated to other than one HubSpot deal stage, the earlier HubSpot stage that can be picked up, and that status can be assigned to it. So that should save a lot of issues from that stage where people have multiple stages in HubSpot for one single DIA status. The other is sales with negative line items do not export to HubSpot. So this is a HubSpot limitation, and unfortunately we cannot build any enhancement at the current stage because that API is simply not available for us to be able to push negative line figures. Another one is HubSpot AutoSync export sales to customers that have been updated. So previously, AutoSync between DIA and HubSpot, where it was all sales and customers were exported. With this release, only sales and customers that have been changed since the previous sync will be exported to HubSpot. So meaning that you're not constantly going through each time it was syncing, it was trying to sync everything over. It now is only going to be synced after the initial sync. It's going to only sync over what's been changed. And then you have invoice authorization date passed to HubSpot as a deal creation date. So previously, within that integration, sales in DIA linked to deals in HubSpot were linked by the status and deal stage. But now the invoice authorization date and the deal creation dates are now going to be synced. So previously they weren't. So invoice authorization date has now been added to the list of DIA fields that can be linked to HubSpot stages. So this is going to create a lot more transparency and a lot more depth to that integration. Also, something else is that's not on here is just that now we're supporting multi-currency between HubSpot and DIA as well. So currency information exported during the sale, this issue has been resolved now, so it's no longer an issue. So being able to manage the multi-currency side of it. So moving on, so we have some other enhancements that I'd like to talk about here. we got workflow activity log added to all purchases. So as you know, we have the automation module. And for those that don't know, we have the automation module. So the automation module can be found under your settings and automation within Dia. Automation module pretty much allows you to keep everyone in the loop, build out automatic workflows, and to be able to go ahead and trigger certain tasks to be automatically done, or people to get notified within the app. And previously, these logs for these automatic workflows was not available in the activity logs. So now we've allowed those activity logs now, the automatic ones, from the workflows to be visible under the activity logs under the for example, under all purchases. So there's a simple purchase, advanced purchase, a service purchase only, invoice. You can have all of that. And then you have account usage notification for shared database users. As you know, a little while ago, we brought out our dedicated server package. So pretty much meaning that if you have more than a certain amount of transactions or products in the system, or you're hitting a certain amount of volumes per month, you will need to go to a dedicated server. So having your own dedicated server, which is pretty much our enterprise plan. And these figures include having 100,000 SKU limit, 400,000 transaction limit accumulated over a period of time. So once you hit 400,000, or if you're doing over 50,000 orders per month, you will need to go into that dedicated server. We've recently built, and all of these types, and the reason for all of these is because it impacts directly the CPU, the memory, the information servers, the processing times, and impacts so many accounts and your own account. So now what we've built under the My Subscription page, once you are actually hitting those limits or close 80% there to hit those limits, you'll be notified by email, but you'll also be able to see how close you are to that usage limit. So if you click on your My Subscription page, you'll be able to see it. And once you hit 80% of that usage, you'll get an email, which then you can start contacting us to see what is the best way forward to move you to a dedicated server, so you can continue to run your business and scale and grow it without running into any kind of performance issues, or in turn even impacting other accounts. And also the CRM module. So the CRM module is this new module that's been released, and we'll be continuing to run constant enhancements for it going forward. It is probably the most commonly requested feature within Dia, as everything else people wanted. They wanted a CRM. So we've released some basic CRM functionality, but we believe that is sufficient to be able to manage most scenarios. And these things include lead management, so our ability to create a lead within the CRM module, create opportunities for that lead, for example, upsell, resell, whatever it may be, and create tasks against those opportunities to be able to manage that particular lead and opportunity, and kind of take them all the way through up to a sales pretty much stage, and then turn that into an authorized sale, which then will flow back into things. So following on from our recent releases, we are going to continue to improve this CRM module and the functionality and its features. So any kind of feedback on that will be greatly appreciated. Just like any other module in India, we will continue to smash out these releases. Now, I know I haven't covered everything. There's some big ticket items that were left out purely because of they require a bit more of a deep dive. So some of these things, some of the modules that we'll go ahead and cover in the next enhancement update is all the enhancements for the MRP module, our advanced manufacturing, and the RMA, so returns, so managing all your returns. So these are some of the big key, obviously, deep dives that we'll need to spend probably somewhere between half an hour to an hour on each one to really get to know it. But we'll go ahead and kind of cover that as best as we can on the next webinar, because they're too much. With that being said, I'd like to also take you on to any questions, but it doesn't have to just be questions. But if you're looking at, hey, how do I connect this what's going on here, the best way to get in touch with us is actually email our support@dearsystems.com, and put this in the subject line, put Dear Webinar in there, and there will be ticketed, and there will be tagged to myself and our management team for review for our existing clients. You can also call up any of these below numbers that you see on your screen, where you can actually go ahead and call them, and they say, hey, look, I was in a June webinar, I have a question about this, and they can go ahead and raise the ticket for you. So you can definitely do that. This will be the best ways to contact us. The other best way, if you need help with the setup of a particular module, training on a particular module or a particular feature, we also have our partner channel. So we have dedicated partners and recommended partners that work with us and work with our clients. So you can also email support and ask for a recommendation. You'll be escalated to me, and I can make that recommendation for you if you need to speak to a particular partner that I feel like that's most suitable for you, and do that.
Great, thanks, Andrew. We have a couple questions actually that came in during the registration process. I see we have some time here. So first would be, can I use the HubSpot integration with the free HubSpot CRM?
Great question. Unfortunately, at the moment, you can't use it with the free CRM module. It needs to be the one of the paid accounts. So the basic paid account, I think it's a professional account that will give you access to have that integration live. So it doesn't actually connect to the free CRM account.
Okay, thank you. And then next, if I'm getting the usage notification, what do I do, and how do I move to a dedicated server?
Sure. So the first thing you need to do, like you need to just contact us. So we need to just sit there and review what's going on, see what best dedicated server plan is suitable for you. So pretty much go through a little bit of a scoping call, and then we can then make a few proposals to yourself about moving to a dedicated server. That would be the best way forward.
Great. And then if I want to test out one of the modules, POS or B2B, do I get a free trial period for that module?
So yeah, so if you haven't, so if you've been using Dia and you were thinking about using the B2B portal, you've never activated the B2B portal. If you go and activate it, you'll get 30 days free period. So it means you get 30 days to kind of set it up, play around with it, and test out some of its functionality to make sure it's suitable for you. And of course, during this time, you can also contact any of our sales teams or any of our support team to kind of help or answer any of those questions during those trial period. So you get a 30-day free trial period with the Dear B2B and the Dear POS.
Great. Two more. If I need help configuring a new module or enhancement, who is the best person that can help me?
This question kind of varies. Who is the best person? So from a sales side of things, we can definitely assist internally. From any kind of the basic configuration guides, we'll be able to guide you some basic configuration. If you're trying to enhance, for example, you're trying to pull in the load Shopify data, fulfillment statuses into Dia, we'll be able to guide you. But in terms of actually someone rolling up their sleeve and doing it for you, we can definitely make some recommendations to some of our partners that could potentially help with that actual setup if you need someone to come and just do it for you.
Great. And lastly, are these updates automatically available in my account?
Absolutely, yeah. So any kind of enhancements or releases that we do, they'll become available, and you can access them on your Dear subscription. So it doesn't matter what subscription you're on. So all these enhancements will roll out as long as you got that particular module activated. You will get that enhancement. So if you ever go Shopify, the load fulfillment statuses on Shopify will be automatically available to you. So there's not any extra things you need to do or any kind of enhancements.
Great. And this might be a little general and we can follow up, but is there a clear description on how HubSpot works in terms of different setups?
Yeah, sure. We do have quite an excellent solutions guide for it. But what it simply is just if you already have your HubSpot configured and all your deal stages, the way you got to think about it is that I have this particular flow and I want to map these particular deal stages to a particular status in Dia. So whether it's new customer created, sales orders now authorized, or draft order, is a draft order at this stage, or this is at this stage where I want to invoice my client. So you're kind of already doing just mapping those different deal stages to a status in Dia. And then having that information sync back and forth. So Dia is checking the HubSpot and HubSpot is checking Dia, for example. We have a complete dedicated guide, but if you do need any kind of specific training or any kind of specific kind of someone to come and actually set the configuration up, again, happy to make a recommendation for someone. Or if you just have basic sales question around it, then our team internally can help.
Great. Does Deer have a test company setup so you can try transactions and see results rather than in the live system?
No, so we don't have a sandbox account at the moment. We are working on that. So it's on our roadmap to have like a sandbox account where you can go and test these things out. But you can definitely set up a free DA trial account. So that's a 14-day, 2 weeks trial account. You can just log into our website, deasystems.com, and get a free trial account, do some basic setup and test and run any kind of test transactions you like on there. So what you can also do is export out some of your own information and import it into that test account.
Great.
And I can double check with our technical team as well where we are on the roadmap for the sandbox account, and if there's something that's going to be out in the next in 2021, hopefully. And then we can maybe put a little bit of an ETA on it. But at the moment, it's just sitting on our roadmap, and I can check and email back as well regarding that.
When will Deer sell by order multiples? You have a
I'm not exactly sure. I need probably a little bit of elaboration on that that question by DM multiples. What does that actually mean? So
okay, we can get back to you.
Yeah, definitely, Jonathan. And if you're expressing any kind of specific problems, what you can do is actually again, I think there was a question by Michelle about expressing certain issues and want to speak to someone about them. You can, again, if you just email support@dearsystems.com and in the subject line write Dear Webinar or Dear Webinar Andrew, it will get escalated and tagged to me. And then I can organize definitely for myself or one of our more senior colleagues to jump on a call with you to go through some of those issues and see if there's something that we can configure or if there's a solution that we can come up with to help you resolve those issues. So if you're living with any kind of issues, just let us know and we'll see if we can best way to see if we can rectify those issues. And be assured that every support ticket gets noted and gets replied to, so you won't be lost.
We also have a page on our website where these recordings will live if you want to go back or share with a colleague if they were unable to make the webinar today.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah, very, very good point. So the webinar will be recorded and shared. I will also put together a little document that could be shared to the attendees that will just go through in detail everything that I covered today in terms of the enhancements. It will talk about a little bit about the configuration setup, what is prerequisites, what you should be expecting from these enhancements, expected behavior, and so forth. Once we finalize that, we'll send that out as well. and I'll check with our team, and hopefully we can also maybe share the deck as well. Awesome. So if there's no more questions, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and end the webinar for today. So thank you for everyone for joining. We had a great turnout. So thank you, Marissa, and thank you to Taranga and our internal team for making this happen. And good to see everyone. And please do not hesitate to shoot through any kind of emails with any kind of questions you guys might have.